Shawn, you hear me?
Hey, Spencer, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. I hear you. Yeah, how you doing, man? This is great. I've been looking forward to this today.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. Both my trades are in like profit for right now in that EU because I've been doing this for like because for my schedule, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. The EU, I didn't realize it shot up that high.
Right. I'm
I
I'm moving it in profit as we're talking.
yeah, I looked right now. I actually got stopped out. I forgot to remove my stop loss, but I got stopped out pretty nice, like around like $300 in profit because I took about maybe a 0.8 or 0.9 lot size. So it was fine. I'm not mad that I got out of the trade. I could always re-enter after the spread, but I was surprised that that I was able to hit that much profit really quick.
Yeah, I try to change it at like 459 to move it in profit, and it just wouldn't let me do it.
Oh, so you're still in trade, right?
Yeah, I'm still in the trade. It's
Okay.
it's going well. It's going well. I just wanted to get it
Nice,
in
nice.
profit before the switch.
Oh, for the swap, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it's all right. It's better this way.
Yeah, it looks good. It actually looks like it's going to keep pushing up to TP2 right here for 30 pips, and then maybe even a full TP. The US dollar is like pretty weak for this whole week, this whole month, it seems like.
So, um, so like my things for today for us is more like I have a few things on my list, right? You already know I always
Oh,
bother
yeah,
you about this. I always bother you about like because for what I do for a living, like I need to be flexible because depending on a project, I might be in this like right now, all my projects are in New York or abroad, or like around the country. So like
Gotcha.
I'll have different time zones. So right now, while this week, since I'm off this week, I'm good to do New York and London, right? And those both
Hmm.
have been like fire, as you already know. um,
Man, you've been killing it. I saw your profits and I was like, dang, it's making me want to trade London.
Bro, I've been like, Mark has inspired me. He's allowed me to make the call, for it when I see it. And how do you do it so quickly where you're able to get in yourself? Because like I'm making sure I get everyone else in before I get in.
Oh, that's the problem. It used to be like that for me too, but for me now, whenever I see the entry, I'll enter it right away, or I'll enter it like maybe a few seconds before it closes. Like if it looks like it's for sure going to close,
Yeah.
and then after I enter that, then I'll go ahead and type up the
Okay. Okay, that's the move.
signal.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because it moves really fast. You definitely have to be on your feet. You have to be able to take that trade like right away, or you'll definitely miss it.
I'm not complaining because I've shown you my profits. I'm good.
Oh yeah,
But
your profits are there's nothing to complain about there.
yeah,
You
but I was just
killed
like,
it.
dude, if I could just get in like that half second earlier and get a little bit more, it's cool. But I'm just being greedy. I apologize for being greedy, and I'm just happy that I'm getting the profit. That I've been very profitable for the last even though I didn't pass the last challenge, I've been in profit and profitable for like the last 3 months.
Oh man, that's
So
good. That's what it really is. It's about consistency because now that you know that it's able to be done, you can just rinse and repeat over and over again.
yeah, if I didn't take that week off because I had to, because I was working in Seattle for a week and change, and the way my business, my vibe, it's like it could be a 12-hour day or it could be a 16-hour day. It depends on the work. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
so I was like, I just can't even pretend to be in a trade and not be able to like move my stop loss or nothing. There's no like, oh, can I take a break here at this moment? It could be something pivotal I'm shooting at that point and I'm screwed, So I was like,
Exactly. 100%.
So like that's why I tend to focus more on uh the zones is what I tend to focus on for the 4 hours. That's more my vibe because then I could still do some work around that. And depending on like my meal break, you know what I'm saying? Uh, I can like get in and out or adjust, and I without you guys and myself putting in TPs, it would be very difficult. But luckily, if I forget to put my TP1 on TP2 marker on my chart, you already have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I get that like that ding, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta move it. And I'm looking like, if, hopefully this take ends soon enough that I can touch my phone.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best thing for you too, because if you're trading on the shorter time frames, like 30-minute or even the 1 hour, it moves so fast, so you have to like literally be on it and move your stop loss like right away. But on the 4 hour, you can kind of let it like bounce around before it hits like TP or after, and then you can still move your stop loss. Or what you can even do for the forex trades is instead of moving it at TP1, you can always move it at TP2 if that
yeah,
works better for you. Because
yeah. Like
it generally hits if it hits TP1 most times than not it's gonna hit TP2, so you can probably like wait on that if that's the case.
yeah, no, like so far for the like forex, I've been fine. It's usually like when I'm in the indices where I'm like, okay, I've got to be on my game. Like was what last week? I think I was texting you. I was shooting something. I was doing
Oh yeah,
interviews,
you're getting an interview,
and
yeah.
then it was just like I got the ding, but like it was a vibe because you know you got to have it on silent or vibrate. So I had the vibe. I hit it. I was like, and I was already in the US 30, and then that means it was TP1, and I was just super happy adjusting my like my like stop loss. It felt so good.
Yeah, exactly, because you just like once you get that ding you're kind of like you're on your toes, you're like, oh, should I like do I have time to move it or whatnot, because sometimes it'll move really fast, especially for indexes. You have to like
Yeah,
really be on point with those.
yeah, dope, dope, dope. Um, what else I wanted to talk about? I need to like the reason why I want to learn from you is how to back test AUS because like right now, like I was saying, if I'm in New York on a project, I can probably do London before call time. You know what I'm saying? So that works for me. And if I'm
Gotcha.
like West Coasting it, um, and doing a project out there, I can probably still do New York because that might be before call time. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm like in Europe, I'm gonna need to be able to do the Australian. So if you could like help me get that back testing on the Aussie, that would be most beneficial because then I can moving forward every time I'm like if I when I pass FTMO, uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I
You
pass
use a
that,
different entry basically.
yeah, yeah. When I pass that, I want to be able to like do it constantly. You know what I'm saying? So like, can you show me the process to get that going so that like if I have if I have those three, and I feel like someone was telling me, let me look in the chat. She was telling me she's dope. She's like fire too. She's in the London group. She was telling me like she was doing a back test on it. Justina. Justina was
Oh
talking
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, but it makes sense for her because she has like children and like afternoon, like, because she's in Florida, I think, right? So
Yeah, I think
afternoon,
so.
like the evening would be more beneficial to her being able to get in these trades. So I get it, you know? So like I need to have like be able to get into like those type of trades and hopefully have a higher win rate. So if you can help me create that with the Aussie, then I will have the New York, the London, and the Aussie, and I can always do it depending on my time zone that I'm working in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, no, that's definitely the game plan. Even for myself, I try to back test the Aussie, but I just, me, I get way too busy and I just forget about it. But it's actually not that hard. So like basically the main thing to do is you just need to find the sweet spot, because that's how it happened with the New York session, because the New York session technically opens like at 5:30, opens an hour earlier, but I
Mhm.
figured out from back testing that it actually works better at 6:30 instead of 5:30. And similar with Mark, he back tested UK 100, and then he figured out that it's actually better on the open rather than skipping that opening candle. So like one way to do it for the Aussie is basically just to get these vertical lines here, and then you'll just go to well, your time zone's a little different, but for me here, it's going to be 1500 my time. That's when the
Yeah,
Aussie
whatever
market
time
opens.
it works for you is gonna work for me. Like I'm good with that. I'm always like all over. So like I have on my phone, on my watches, always different time zones, just ready.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if you're going to do that, then I mean, it's not very hard because the way to determine where the swap happens is you could just move the browser or your little crosshair above these lines right here. You can see it goes from 1250 and then it skips to 450 and then it skips to 1500. So that's how
Got
you know that there's a swap right there because the market's closed for like about an hour
I was
or
told
two
there
hours.
might be um, an indicator that shows me when the market swaps, like the all time
I've seen
frames.
that.
I was
Yeah,
told
I've
they
seen
might
that
be.
before, but I don't know if it's as
Is it too
accurate. So if you
messy?
go here to the indicator, you can search sessions. Oh, so this is or trade session. I know there was one that I used before. It was like session.
I
Okay,
just
so
don't.
I think it's sessions on chart.
Yeah, I just want to
It
make sure
might
it's not
be
too
this
messy.
session. Yeah, because what happened when I looked at it, it was kind of I mean, it's kind of confusing because I don't really know what it
Yeah,
means by that.
yeah, I see
Yeah,
what you're
because
saying.
I tried to use this and I was like, what the heck is this? Like the
Yeah, yeah,
colors were kind of it's kind of easier if you just do it by hand. Because the thing is when you're back testing, you want
gotcha.
to be focused anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a little confusing. Let me see if you change the settings maybe. Or I guess you could change the settings, but
Yeah. All I would want
um
would be the Sydney one for this for sure.
the setting. So
Yeah.
we might be able to just do this. Turn these off right here. Just turn on the Sydney. Sydney is about I think it's I don't know if this time is right. Well, I mean, it looks like it's right, but oh, so technically, I think it starts at 1450. So yeah, basically, you can probably do that. To find this indicator, I just went to indicators, I typed in session,
Cool. Getting it.
and then there we go. It's sessions on chart. So that's the one that I chose.
Got it. Sessions on
And then
chart.
once you have yeah, and then once you have that, you can probably back test pretty easy. So by doing this, you can just see if they actually hit. So like right here, you can see that the first, yeah, obviously you wouldn't catch this one right here. You would catch the next one. You would just pretty much look for the first signal, which would be this one right here. It looks like it hits full TP right there. The other thing that you have to do, so like for number one, you just have to determine the sweet spot. It looks like I mean, the only way you'll be able to do that is to back test it and check every trade to see what the win rate's like. If the win rate's above 70%, then you're spot on because you can take every trade and then eventually you'll be in profit over time. But looking at this here, so that'd be number one, finding the sweet spot. Number two is going to be finding the stop loss. I don't trade the Aussie, so I'm not sure if 160 pips is a lot or if these are calculated as let me see if they have the
Yeah. Can you like tell me what like what would be per pip? That way I know how to calculate my risk. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. That's what I'm trying to find out too. Let me see if I could find the Aussie 200. I'm trying to see if they have the currency.com data for this because I like that one a lot better, but I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah, I would. They don't have it. Because I would like to use currency.com for all of them. That'd be great if it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, because it seems like they have the most accurate data.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be called other than Aussie. Here, let me look it up online. Australian index symbol, because there's so many symbols for this. Well, not just for this, but like even for US 30, where it's kind of confusing. Let me see if we can find it here. ASX, that might be it. ASX 200. No, I don't see it here. Let's see if we can find it here.
Because if not, I'll like if I have to like focus more on New York or London, I will. But if it's possible to do more of this as well, That would be great to have that, you know, ability to actually use it if I needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And I heard from other people that it's pretty it's pretty it's pretty accurate too. It's actually a lot more accurate because it moves a lot slower than the other pairs or the other indexes actually.
Hmm.
But I'm trying to see if they have, because I really like the currency.com data. They usually have, like, it's pretty spot on if you compare currency.com versus Owanda.
Yeah, like this
Um,
morning for the UK,
mhm.
100, like it hit signal for the currency.com for me, and it didn't hit for someone else who was using Owanda. And they were like, I don't see a signal. And I was like, are you on currency? And then they went to currency and then they saw the signal. They would have not been in the trade if they didn't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, Australia. Because I'm not sure what the other, okay, so we are here, Australia. Yeah, maybe if I just type in Australia, we can find it here. Uh, Yeah, I don't really see it here. The only one that I see is the Owanda data and the Forex.com data. So if I was to choose between the two, I would choose the Forex.com data
Okay.
because I feel like this is a little more accurate. So for
Cool. For
one, you just want to find the sweet, so step one of like back testing it, you want to find the sweet spot. That's going to be probably main priority. And then number two is just going to be finding the where you should put your stop loss. So once you figure out those two things, then you can make a little changes. Like, you know how for the New York session, before we would take any trade, like regardless as to how late it comes.
uh-huh.
Um, but then now we decided to, hold off on it if it comes after 10, because generally after 10, the market ends to reverse. And you can kind of see it right here on the Aussie as well. You can see from the Aussie, it comes down at the beginning of the market, and then halfway through, it reverses the opposite direction.
Gotcha. I see it.
Same situation the prior day right here. You can see when the market opened, it went up. And then after that, it came back down. So that might be something to add on later, within your back test. But it'll go hand in hand. If you're back testing and you have like a spreadsheet, what you can put down is you can put, the wins and the losses. You can put if it hit TP2, hit full TP, and then you can have like a little note at the end. Like, maybe this trade came in a little too late. Maybe that should be another requirement to add to the strategy. So, but the main two things would just be finding the sweet spot and then finding the stop loss area. And I don't trade it, so I don't know how much each pip is worth, but I think it's a lot cheaper than US 30. It's kind of similar to S&P. So I don't trade S&P either. So I'm not 100% sure, how the lot sizes work. The only way to figure that out is to actually test it. So like test it with a small lot size, just take one trade. And if it's too small, like it's a few pennies, then just increase that lot size by, another from a micro to a mini. And then if that's still too
You think I should
small,
do that on my personal?
you can do that or do it on your demo if you want. It's really up to you. If you feel comfortable with taking the trade, then just take it on your personal, but then take a really small lot size. And then
Cool.
or do it on your FTMO and then do it on there so you could determine if that lot size is cheaper or more expensive, because I think it's measured the same way as S&P, but I don't trade S&P either, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Mark was telling
How,
me for S&P, like try to do one lot or something like that. That would be like
oh
the
gosh,
smart move.
oh, one lot. Okay, so if it's one lot, then that's kind of similar to it would be standard lots. So you know how we move the decimal over for US 30? It would
Yeah,
be the opposite direction for Australia, because it's going to be measured as normal lots and not mini lots.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Dope.
So just looking at the Aussie right here, you can see that there's one entry right here, and it looks like if you place your loss at the previous swing, which would be somewhere like right here, it would have hit full TP. And this is going to come with the back test too, because the way that I figured out the sweet spot for the US 30 is that I did a ton of tests, and I figured that 1500 was always like what it almost always hit. So there's going to be only like one way to find out with that too. Like you're just going to have to keep running through these entries and then see where the TP usually hits. or where it gets in your stop loss and, you know, ends up getting stopped out or ends up hitting. So you just by like eyeballing this right here, you can see there was one win right there. The previous day there was a loss, but I think there was news during this day. So one thing that you have to, I mean, you don't have to take into consideration right now, but
You know, I won't
maybe
trade.
later, like, yeah, because yesterday, this was the 30th. Let me see. I'm pretty sure there was news that day. 30th. Yeah, so there was Aussie news on that day. You might have held off on that one. But you know, with your back test, you can just go ahead and note that as well during your back test, and then you can figure out if it usually hits during news, then you can just take the risk if you really want to, and then just trade it anyways. Because it looks like there was news on the first yesterday too, but it looks like we still hit. Like there was news at the same time around 4, and then it hit full TP. So maybe it was just, you know, an irregular movement in the market that happens. It's something that you can't really avoid. So yeah, one win, one loss, one win. Right here, another win. It's pretty accurate. It makes me want to trade it now.
I remember you saying you were going to do something about, no, you were doing a US 30 during the Aussie. That's what you was talking about before. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to figure out like the sweet spot for US 30, but then now I started to realize that you should probably just trade that specific asset for that specific trading session, because it's just, it just makes more sense that way. But yeah, this is pretty simple. Like you pretty much just go around, you know, mark all this stuff up right here. And then once you're done marking stuff up, you can actually start to put things together. Well, you can even do that from the beginning. You can just, you know, open up a spreadsheet. Let me see if I have one, for example, here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Like one of my older ones, the ones that I use for US 30. Let's see. Check my account over here. Yeah, because I never finished the back testing. I was back testing it pretty far back, and then there's just stuff just kept piling on. I never got a chance to really finish it. But yeah, looking at this right here, this is like one of the back tests that I used. Basically for US 30, I put like the date, the time, you know, if it was a buy or sell, whether it was trending. I just made it as detailed as possible. And then at the end, I started adding other things, like added notes right here, you know, like specific notes that kind of stood out with that specific trade. And I put if there was news or not. And then if they were, you know, obviously if we kept losing during the news, I'm like, all right, I should probably just not trade during the news. And these are just little things that you could add together to figure out whether, you know, it works well or not during certain conditions. But just to get started, you could probably just go back and back test like this and figure out, you know, when it hits and when it doesn't. The main thing is to figure out when it doesn't hit, trying to understand, you know, why it didn't hit. It looks like right here there was like news around that time, so I don't know if this might have affected it, possibly. But it looks like there was news here too, and it was perfectly fine. Or no, actually, this was a loss too. So these both lost right here, and you can see for these both of these trades, there was a loss because there was news right before. So that kind of gives you, you know, an understanding. Maybe I should just trade when there's not any news, because right here there was no news. It went straight to full TP. Yeah, and then same situation right here, no news. You can see that it goes straight to full TP right here. Really nice. Again, right here, it looks like there was some news on the open, and it looks like it might have made some profit, but if you didn't move your stop loss up, then you probably would have, actually would have still hit TP. It would just take like an entire day, it looks like. Yeah, this thing took, let's see. Yeah, geez, it took like 20 hours. I mean, but it eventually hit. So it looks like it still hits. It just, you know, sometimes it takes a longer time because the Aussie market is a lot smaller. But yeah, again, right here. So we have a sell right here, which would have lost, but it lost because there was news like right, you know, right next to it, like maybe within a couple, see about maybe like 20 or 30 minutes away from entry. So that's something to take into consideration. You know, if there's news before, does that cause losses? If there's news after, does that cause losses? And then pretty much it's just rinse and repeat. Like right here, there was news right before, but it pushed price straight to TP. So maybe you can trade during news, but maybe you'd have to analyze the news first. So
But for
right here,
FTMO, would I be allowed to do that?
that's one thing too. That's another thing. Let me see. Because I think for FTMO, you could only, I think the requirement is that you don't trade like 6 minutes before the news happens. So if it's a little bit after, so this news happened at 16:30. Yeah, you had like about an hour since the news, so this would be okay. But I think you just can't enter or exit trades like within 6 minutes of the news event. So these look actually okay. It doesn't look like the entries usually happen on the news. This one right here would be a win as well. And this is just, a quick back test of November. Like we can literally just run through these right here. I don't even have to really spend too much time on these. But just looking at November right here, it looks like it hits a lot of TPs. Like it looks like it has been super profitable. Right here it lost, but it looks like there's news right after. Right here looks like it would have won. So just for November, I think we have a lot more wins than losses. But I'll go ahead and take a look at that. And one thing too that you might want to figure out is whether you should be skipping or taking the invalid signal. So right here, it was an invalid buy signal. But one way to do it is you put a buy stop at the high of that candle. And then as it swings up right here, it'll refill it. So there's a lot of different variations you can do. The key is just to, pull as much data as possible, because the more data you have, the easier it'll be for you to pull a strategy apart basically and see what needs to be changed and what can stay. But for the most part, it's just trying to find patterns. That's really what you're doing. You're looking for patterns that happen during the session. And if they follow through, kind of similar to how we do with US 30. Let me check this out. So yeah, we pretty much covered all of November right here, the 5th. And this would be the risky time too, because this was November, the first week of November. This is during the election season, so it was kind of a tricky time to trade. We probably wouldn't have traded these days anyways. So nothing there. This is November 3rd. Let's see if there's anything else here.
Yeah, once I find out price per pip, I would then figure out if this is really something that we should move forward with. You know what I mean?
Exactly, definitely. I think it's definitely worth. If you really needed to, it does look profitable. It doesn't look like it has less than a 50% win rate. So yeah, we've covered basically all of November right here. So this is, let's see, so this would be a lot, or we'll just count full losses and full wins, because if you move your stop loss in here, obviously it would be a win, but it wouldn't be a full TP. So this would be one loss. This would have been a win. So we're at break even right there. This would be win, so that'd be +1. This would be a loss, so that'd be break even. This would be a loss, we're at -1. This would be a loss, that's -2. This would be a loss, -3. So it looks like there's some hot streaks where it loses, but then it probably bounces back. Here's a win right here, that's a -2. A win right here, -1. A loss right here, -2. A win right here, -1. A win right here, break even. A win right here, it's +1. Win right here, +2. And it becomes a numbers game. You can tell, if you just take every trade, it ends up balancing out. So that's +2. A loss right here, -1. A win right here, +1. A win right there, +2. A loss right here, +1. Back to break even, +1. +2. +1. we're back to, and then back to +2. So it looks like for the month of November, if you took every trade, you'd only be in, well, you'd still be in profit, but you'd only have 2 wins overall. So that's where, you have that data right there where you're like, okay, it's like, I mean, what is it? That's like it's not a 50% win rate. It's maybe like a 60-70% win rate. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. So at that point, once you have like that percentage in your head, that's when you can start incorporating other factors. Like, am I entering the trade too late? Am I entering the trade too early? Should I avoid news? There's a whole bunch of different factors that you can put into your analysis to determine whether you should trade during certain news times. Like right here, there's a bunch of news. So maybe if we avoided this, we could have avoided this loss. Because what it really comes down to is how many losses can you avoid? As long as you're profitable and you could as many losses as possible, you're always going to be in profit. And then the more you prevent losses, the more profits you get to keep at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, I've come to notice my style is more like rule-based trading. Like if I know what the rules are, and then I can like adjust accordingly for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem with a lot of other traders. Because the thing with a lot of other traders is rule-based trading is really the way to trade because you won't make mistakes. You're doing the same thing over and over again. But a lot of people like to just trade off the fly, and that's when the emotions get involved, and they end up not following any type of trading plan, and how they end up blowing accounts. So it's like you're definitely on the right path where you want to be a rule-based trader, because I feel like that's probably the only way to really be successful. Basically trading like a robot.
Yeah.
Because
like before K2, I had various mentors, right? And they were great. I'm not even gonna lie. They were really good, but they made it so difficult for me to get it. Like it made sense when they would call signals, everyone in the group would make money, but could anyone replicate what they were doing? No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't on your own replicate what they were doing because it was just too complicated. Like when I first started with you guys, I was looking for what is the trick, because it seemed too structured, too organized, too like easy. You know what I mean? And like I grew up with the whole vibe of my life. Always keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying? And if you could do the whole thing, you're good. And I've like once I figured out that like in this trading, it's really about me, not about like my own psychology, about trying to like why am I looking for a trick when he's telling me from these videos, this is what you do, and if you see this and this, if then it's like like math, if this happens, then do this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so there. But for some reason, I was like, nah, there's got to be something deeper. There's got to be something I'm missing, and I'm looking for it. And then I was like, nah, bro, that's not what he's saying to you, my G. He's telling you, you do this, you focus, you pick a strategy and rock it. I was never like all my dudes, all the guys I studied with, except for one. One was he was like a scalper, and I could tell that's not my vibe. Like scalping, I have to live on this screen so I can try to get these pips. I'm not into that vibe. My vibe is once I figure out what I'm willing to lose, once I like, all right, so it's a educated risk, so I'm like, okay, so if I see this trade and the probability is in my favor to win, right? How much am I willing? Like I always think, how much am I willing to lose to be in this trade? And then if I feel okay with it, I'm completely okay with that trade. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I'm very conservative with my percentages. I'm more of a 1% to 2% tops on my personal. On the FTMO, I'm really a 1%er, So like that's just how I
feel. Exactly. Because if you go over like 1% and you take, 5 trades, you're already at your daily max loss at that point. So you have to like literally be on point, and you have to follow your trades and know exactly what you're doing. Because a lot of people, that's what happens with a lot of people when they fail FTMO. It's not because they couldn't reach the profit target. It was because they weren't watching the risk and end up going like, $1 over, a couple dollars over their max daily loss, and they're like, oh, well, this doesn't make sense. But it does make sense, because if you're trading a real, a real big account, you're not going to let your money go so far out where you're just end up blowing like a 100K account, like a real money account.
Nah. Like
Exactly.
I'm super conservative about it. Like when we were doing the UK 100, he was saying if you're doing 100K FTMO, 10, don't go over it. I was like, nah, bro, I don't even need to touch that. Like the number I'm thinking about per day is this number. So I was like, so I think like I've been doing 8, correct? I've been doing 8 lots because that feels good for me. Like whatever happens, cool. I'm good with that loss. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm great with that win, So
Exactly,
that's
100%.
how it works for me.
Yeah, and it's the same with me too, like with the US 30. Like a lot of people, like you could go higher than 15 lots, but I go 15 lots because that's like my sweet spot. Because it's like our win rate for US 30, we never really go more than 2 back-to-back losses. And that's only happened like once or twice, this whole year. So like I risk like 2,250 because I know that if I have 2 of those losses, that's just like under 5%.
Yeah.
But if I start to go over that, then I could lose my account within like 2 or 3 trades. But I'm still making decent profit because the win rate's so high, it always balances each other out, by the end of the week.
Yeah, US 30. I started out doing, I think I was doing like 7.5. And then I told you about it. And you were like, why are you doing 7.5? And I was like, well, I felt like that's a comfortable level. He's like, and then you were like, are you doing 100K? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, you might want to look at 15. And then you explained to me the breakdown. Like once I know how much each pip cost to me, once that number like is adjusted in my head, I'm like, okay, cool, got it. And then like since then, I've been doing 15 because it makes sense and I never get close to my daily loss.
Exactly. Because the thing is, you have to make enough profit for you to even like reach your goal, because some people like to take it like way too easy. And the thing is, they'll never make that 10% if they keep playing it way too safe. Like you have to play it where it's like conservative, but not too conservative, like just enough where you can still make profit and reach that, 10,000 at the end of the month, basically.
Yeah, that's what's up. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So I've been doing like the double. Like I don't know why I've been doing it, but like it's been working for me. But where like if I see a 4-hour trade, I've been doing a 30-minute on the same trade on my personal, and it's been great.
Oh, nice. And you just take a trade within.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what I do sometimes too. Like even for like something like this, like the Euro USD, I might go on the 30-minute, or even less than that. I might even go like on 10-minute and then just take smaller moves within. Like right here, you can take it like another buy. And then as this comes down, I could probably put like another buy stop, like right here, where the high of this opposite candle is, because once we get that buy signal that shoots right back up, it's gonna, fill the order and take you straight to profit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been doubling up on them. Like if I see a 4-hour like call, or if I hit you up and I tell you I like this for the 4-hour, and you tell me yeah you like it too, then I'm like, all right, cool. I'm looking for like my first 30-minute like signal. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, once I get that 30-minute like signal that's going against what I'm going for, and then I wait for it to come back towards where I want, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way that I like to scalp too. That this is like considered the momentum pullback strategy. Basically, you see like an opposite signal, which is
Yeah.
like just a pullback retracement, and then what you could do is just put like your buy stop order, like right here at the high of this. So as soon as it comes right back up, it automatically fills your order, and then you pretty much ride this into profit because you're basically getting a head start because you're getting in right here, and
I
then the
did
buy.
watch that video, but you're right. I've been doing it the opposite direction. I've been like not the opposite. I've been doing it too safe. Like you're right. I could do it that way, and I could get in sooner. I've been waiting for another
Buy signal.
signal. Yeah, another buy signal, and then like that's when I jump in. But you're right. I could do it this way too because I did watch that like a few months ago, but it didn't resonate with me back then. So you know what? Maybe I'll watch it again so it resonates with me right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I kind of forgot about this too because I stopped doing this for a while. But one of the new guys that signed up like this week, he actually was like, I really like the strategy, and I went over it and I was like, oh, this really makes sense. Like this could be easy for some re-entries or some double entries. If you want to double up on your position, especially if
Yeah,
it's shooting up like super nice, like how it is right here.
yeah. Yeah, that's smart. I've been doing it like where I wait for the next signal, and then I'm like, ooh, I get in on that next signal. So I've probably lost like a few, 20, it could be 10 to 20 pips right there. I could have gained if I've done it this way.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the thing is, if you're waiting for it to shoot up anyways, you might as well get that head start in there. You just have to understand, where you want to get in from. Because the thing is, when you have a retracement candle like this, technically this would kind of be like a structure, because when it pulls back like that, it's like establishing, a lower high. So it's
Mm.
basically, if you want to analyze it from here, because you see prices coming up from this point from down here, and it establishes a high right here. So then you could consider this the new high, and then it's like establishing uh, a low, and then it has a what's called a lower high right here.
Yeah.
So basically, this would be considered a structure right here. So like whenever price breaks it and closes above it like it did right here, odds are it's probably going to shoot up even further. But there's a lot of ways to analyze it. It's just there's a lot of these different concepts that I just have in my head that I don't really think about, because I'm like so used to just staring at the chart, where I'm like, oh, it's establishing a high right here, and then just resonates in my mind like, maybe it's establishing a high, a low, a lower high, and then basically
Yeah.
for it to correct back up, it needs to break that little structure that we just identified right here.
Yeah, I feel you. Like I've been I'm like fairly new to this Forex game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I started once, like I had a friend of mine tell me about it last year, but I wasn't really focused, and I saw what
Mm-hmm.
he did, and I was like, oh, you're making money, that's cool, but it doesn't really translate to me making money. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then when we had this whole pandemic vibe happen, I was like, all right, cool. I think I could do this on the side once production was like shutting it down, and I started to learn, and I had, really good mentors, and they were cool, but it never made it where I could do it on my own. And then when I got to you, I was like, oh wow, I'm like, I didn't blow any account. I'm actually making money. And in like, because the FOMO, like that's the hardest thing I had to learn, being in the K2 chats,
Mm-hmm.
because you watch so many people win. It's ridiculous. It's like you're seeing, I'm in the same trades as these people, and you're like, oh, and they're like, they got their psychology down, so they're winning so much more, and they're putting more than I am, and I don't know their like account size. So like in my mind, I'm just like, one day I'll get to that point where my account size will be big enough to gain those same wins.
Exactly.
But like at the beginning, it was very eye opening for me, because I was like, Dad, bro, like I need to throw more money at this, because like I'm seeing cats really eating, and I need to get in that. And I was like, maybe I should jump in this trade without knowing why everyone else got in those trades. So now I've been doing this like real talk, been doing this about 7 to 8 months. And the first 3 months of this was, I was on every chart. I'm like watching morning, noon. I'm in every session, and I wasn't trading like my demo account. I was trading my own. Like I was like, I'm gonna use this money, because then that's how, like every mentor I had was like, it's cool to demo, but make sure you at some point start using real money so you can like gain a better psychology.
Exactly. Because
And,
it works on your
and
emotions, 100%.
yeah, and then they were like, make sure you only put in what you're willing to lose completely. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. I'm willing to lose this. And then you start
Yeah,
losing, and you're
definitely.
like, no, why am I losing? And everyone else is winning. And then I was like, all right, I'm only taking trades when one of my mentors call it out. And when they call it out, I'm winning. And I'm winning because I'm no longer in my way. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're in your head too much.
Yeah, I'm no longer in my way. I'm like, oh, if they believe in it, and they're telling me when to get in, when to get out, exactly. And I had one mentor who's like, real talk, I'm not gonna say his name, but the dude is like rocking the mill. And I see him constantly. He's eating it. He's rocking the mill, and I'm like, why are you still trading with a million? Wouldn't you trade with less? He's like, nah, it's fun. He just enjoys doing it that way. And I
Exactly.
was like,
It keeps it exciting, you know?
yeah, I guess so.
Basically.
I would not be trading with that much money of my own money, not a chance. And I was like, and he was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, he was like, I might do this FTMO. Like I still talk to him. I was like, I was trying to get him to join you guys. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
you might want to check this out. He was like, yeah, I might do FTMO next year for fun. And I was like, how many more accounts do you need, bro? But I guess at some point you gotta have like, because it's so much fun. I'm not gonna lie. At first I was like, oh, this is very difficult. And then it gets to the point where it's no longer difficult and it's just fun. And it's
Yeah,
not
it's
like,
fun. And when the profits come in, it's like it's even more fun.
yeah, yeah. But it's like for me, it's more fun when I saw something and it happened. Even if I didn't get the whole thing, I saw it, I participated, and it happened all the way. It's like that to me is like, oh yeah, that's what's up.
Exactly, 100%. Because it's good when you like when you analyze something and you make a guess, you think something's gonna happen, it actually plays out. You're like, yeah, I actually know what I'm doing at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
feel
it's
like it's
pretty
like that with a lot of people too, because a lot of people they're not so used to winning. You know, in life you don't really win that much. Like nobody wins all the time. But when you're trading, you can make that a possibility.
yeah, man, it's insane, bro. Because like today in the chat, I was like, yeah, UK 100, and of course US 30. It looks so simple, right? It looks like, oh yeah, all you gotta do is this and this, and you in and you rock it. But then your own psychology gets in your way, and you can like stop yourself from winning the way other people are winning. You know what I mean? And once you master that part, like the Mark was so right. Once you master that part, and that for yourself on other trades, like forex or whatever, once you get that, then this works for you completely, and I can see it. I didn't see it before, but you know when I really saw it is when I failed my FTMO, and I failed it not like in like I messed up and I did something wrong. I failed it because I didn't make the profit target, and I realized it was on me why I didn't make it. Like I saw like, oh, I didn't make that profit target. One, I took that week off. That's cool. That's still an excuse on my own. On top of it, my trades were fire, but I didn't believe in myself enough to put it to the right percentages that I would win. And then at the end, I was trying to wild
Exactly.
out,
You're
trying to like,
playing for the day.
yeah. So once all those like clicked for me, like now, like I was saying to someone last night who's new, he was talking about he just joined up with you guys, and we were just chatting on Telegram, and I was like, yeah, man. Once it started, when I started like doing the mornings with you, the mornings with you clicked for me. You know what I mean? Like things started to like just lock in. Those like so
Oh
like
yeah,
the
because you guys get to see exactly how I analyze everything. Because a lot of people don't understand, like watching the videos. It's also it's more so through like practice and through like seeing me do it live. Like every time
yeah,
I chart, everyone's like, "Dang, it makes so much sense now that the reason why you chart these zones because they actually play a big factor into the week, and the price always respects the zone. You guys have noticed that,
yeah.
and it gives you it's like a cheat code. Like a lot of people don't see those zones because they don't have the K2SR indicator, but since we do, you're able to see exactly where price is rejecting and stuff like that.
Oh, and like today, I got in that second bit, right? When it did the when it went off the what was it? The pivots. When it came off the pivots, I got in there with you, and I was like, yeah, and I felt super comfortable. You know what I mean?
Oh, in the US
I
30,
think
yeah,
everything
right.
about this is about feeling super comfortable. If you feel super comfortable, win, lose, you're good. That's what I'm starting to like. We're really like ingrained in me.
Exactly. Like for me, it's like, if I take a loss, it's fine. I'm gonna eat that loss because I don't want to make it back on the next trade or the trade after because our win rate's so high. And the cool thing with the K2 strategies is that we're all applying the same exact strategy. So when I call something, you guys know exactly what I'm looking at. There's no guesswork there. It's like, all right, I pointed out all the requirements here. But if you're trading something like price action or patterns, you're gonna see something that's totally different than I see. You don't have everything that's like pointing directly to this specific entry. You get me? So
Yeah, yeah.
like
Because I
when
started
we
out
took
with
the
price
pivot
action.
entry, oh yeah, and it's kind of complicated because it's not it's not something you really learn right away. It's something that you got to practice over and over and over again. And even at
Yeah.
that point, you know, if I see something or if I see this pattern and you don't see it, it's kind of like,
Hmm.
you know, why don't I see it? Something like that.
I remember I would like call out the wrong stuff. I'd be like, I think that's a morning star. And you like, do you see that? Okay. And I was like, maybe I don't see it. I was
Exactly. Yeah,
like, oh,
that's why I don't bother with patterns at all. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter how much you teach someone about it. It just depends if they see it. If they don't see it, then they're probably never going to see it. And
mm,
it's just hard for someone to really, or like for people to trade as a team if not everyone's able to see the same exact thing that you're looking at.
hell yeah. Yeah. I feel you on that.
Yeah. That's why for us it's like easy because like it's like, okay, we're waiting for 6:30. Once 6:30 hits, we're all waiting for that signal. There's just one thing that we're looking for. And once that signal comes up, everyone's already ready to take that trade. And I'm also calling it live with you guys. So we're all like ready to hit that, you know, as soon as it hits.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much like sometimes I get in before you because like the ding will
Uh,
happen on my phone and I'm like, oh, I'm already pressing it.
you're already ready to go, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, ding, boom, I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
today's intro was really good. There was no drawdown at all. It was a
yeah.
pretty smooth up. I kind of got scared when it started to pull down right here, but I was trusting it. I was like, I knew it's gonna reject off the zone. Plus, we had all these pivots right here, so I was like, it's gonna reject off. There's too many indications that price is gonna reject off this area, and it's gonna shoot right the way up. And it
When
did that exactly.
when I saw how wide the
And it
pivots
was
were, I was
perfect.
like, I
It
felt
pulled
really
TP.
good about it. Yeah. You know, when I saw how wide the pivots were, I was like, oh, I feel really good about this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the wider they are, the stronger the trend. Like you can see even right here,
Yeah.
when they're super wide, this thing just comes crashing down. Right here was super wide. It was shooting up like a rocket.
Yeah. I felt really good. I was like, yeah, I'm good with it. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been
exactly.
working on like my confirmations to get in each trade and stuff like that. I don't just like, yes, I can normally just get in because you say you like it, because I do have that
Hmm.
much trust in your decision making, but I like to like want to get in because it makes sense to me as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly, no, 100%. And it's like it goes back to what you mentioned earlier. It all has to do with your confidence. Like if you're 100% confident with your trade, whether it wins or loses, you're gonna feel good about it regardless. You're not gonna feel bad. You're gonna be like, oh, it probably lost because of, you know, there's a bunch of other factors that are hitting it. But if you enter a trade and you're not 100% confident, you're going to be sweating that entire time you're holding that trade, and you're going to be waiting until you can, you know, jump out of that trade that entire time. So in that situation, you probably shouldn't have even entered the position to begin with.
Yeah, I feel you. I just don't have that, like, you know how you said confident, like
Mhm.
how you said, I'm not that way. I'm more of a pessimist. So like I always think about how much am I going to lose, and if I'm okay with how much I'm going to lose, I'm okay with the trade. You know what I mean? That's why like that
Gotcha.
number always makes, once I know that number, like I can watch the trade and it won't bother me because I decided when I got in, I'm okay with losing this amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that for that once I figured that was my psychology that made it work for me, I was like, okay, cool. Because like I see people who are like, especially in the trade and like in the group, I'm like, you guys have like no fear because I'm seeing like a little, like to me, I thought it would be like over leveraging, but I guess it's not to them, you know. And I'm like, cool. And it make, if as long as you feel good and you're good, you making your money, I'm making mine, we're all happy. But like for me, I like to know how much I'm gonna lose, and then if I'm okay with that, then I'm good to go.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to be like that too. So when I first started trading, that was how I would trade. It would always be a money value, but now it's just risk percentage for me now because it's become so mechanical where I don't even look at the profits anymore. Like I all I want to do is I want to see that TP hit. That's really what it is. I don't even care about the profits, how much I'm making. It's more so just me winning trades because it just becomes an addiction. You know, you keep winning so many trades. Like just looking at our win rate's like crazy high because for me, I'm more focused on winning rather than, you know, focusing on profits. Because the thing is, if we just keep winning, those profits are just going to be compounding and compounding. Because whenever I enter a trade, I always enter at the same risk percentage. So
Yeah,
if I enter
that's
10%
good.
if I enter 10% this time and I make like $500, the 10% off that extra $500 is going to make a huge difference with my profit on the next trade.
Mm.
So that's why I don't really focus on that at all. Like looking at my forex.com account, this is like my risk account right here. where I just
Yeah.
take 10% trades for no reason. But this one, I started this with like 2,000 like 2 months ago, and it's up to 6,000 now. And these are pretty much, I take all the trades from the signals that we call, and I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
take them and I take a 10% risk, and I just let them run pretty much. And I adjust the stop loss as they move up. And if they stop me on profit, that's cool. But as long as I don't take a loss, that's all that really matters to me. Because as long as you're able to avoid losses and minimize, as many losses as you run into, your account's just going to keep growing without you even knowing. Like this, I can't
Yeah.
believe 6,000. I'm like, damn, this was a play around money with account, and I'm at 6,000 already in like one or 2 months.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I was looking at the failed FTMO, and my win rate was like 74%. So like with 74%, you should have made the profit target, and that was on me.
Oh yeah, because your lot sizes are probably different. Huh? They weren't the same.
Yeah.
Like risk percentage all around. Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you're above a 50% and you're at least like doing the same risk percentage each time, if you're at 75% win rate, you'd be up what is it, 25%. So you should have for sure have hit your goal, because you only need to reach 10% in reality.
I know it's on me. Like, yeah, I love that. I like what this is, because I don't have to like live off of anyone. You know what I mean? I don't need, I'm not going to badmouth any social whatever thing that people do for trading, or for other things. I'm just saying, for me, I like that I don't need anyone else. I don't need to like have someone else partner in with me. Like, this is about me, and if I master myself or learn to master myself, I'm good. I will be able to do this forever type of vibes. And that's what I've really gotten over the last 4 or 5 months doing this with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I am with K2 too. That's why with K2, I'm not really openly advertising. Like during the webinars, I'm not like, here, buy this, buy that, sign up for this, sign up for that. I'm kind of like, I make pretty good money just trading. So if you guys want to trade with me, or if you guys want to access, the indicators and stuff, it's available, but I'm not pushing it on anyone to like, buy this, buy that. Because the thing is, it doesn't really affect me, because if people buy into this, then it just takes time out of my day, and I got to go teach people, and then it takes away from my trading. But I don't really mind teaching people, but I'm not there like, pushing a product for that money, because I'd rather just trade anyways. So that's kind of like what set K2 apart as well from like other companies as well, because a lot of other companies, they want to push their subscriptions and all that stuff. Like that comes first before their trading. But for me, it's like, I love to trade. I'll do this every day. And I was doing it for the longest before, I think like 2 years before K2 even went into a company. Like before it became a company, I was doing all this for free. Literally, people had access to everything. I was literally just teaching people for free, and it just got to a point where we just got too big, and I had to, turn it into something basically.
Yeah. For me, I think when you told me, I asked you, hey, could you pass my K2, my FTMO for me? And you were like, nah, bro, it's on you. I was like, yeah, you're right, it is. I was like, yeah, that's right, it's on you, bro. And look at me now, bro. I'm so close. I'm so close on the new one.
You're so close, and you did it on your own. You didn't do it with any of my work. But that's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people want, they always ask me to do their FTMO for them. And the thing is, I don't mind doing their FTMO, but the thing that I do care about is that they're not able to sustain it after. And that's like the hardest part, because it's like, I did all the easy lifting or hard lifting for you, but then now, like, what now, when you can't keep the account after. And it's like, oh, go ahead.
It's like 6 o'clock, right? So what is that over there for you? It's 3, right? Do you mind looking at for like any calls?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me go check it out. Because usually I look at for the late entry here, because the 4-hour candle closes at 2, but that's during the swap spread.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, let's see if we see anything over here. Nothing here. Nothing for AJ. I'm just waiting for this to break above here as well.
Gotcha.
Odd NCD. This is the one that we were looking at during the webinar. And I was telling you right here that, I think when you asked me, there was no signal there. So I was confused. I was like, what is he looking at?
Yeah, because like I saw the signal and it looked so strong. I was like, okay, that's what, because like, like if you look at it and it's been there for like 30 minutes with that signal, I was like, okay, most likely it's going to finish with this. In my mind, I started thinking like, all right, if it finishes with it, that means it's got enough push to get it up there. hopefully. And then when you got to the question, it had no signal. I was like, okay, cool, my bad.
Yeah, so right here we do have a buy signal. So if this pushes up above this zone, then we can take a long position right here, pretty much to this next zone up here for maybe about 45 pips. So that's one scenario. However, if this doesn't close above it and this ends up coming back down, which could be a possibility too, if we get a sell signal that follows, this drop right here, then we can take a short position back down this way.
Yeah, I love the if then stuff, man. That's my vibe. The if then, I love that. I'm like, yep, if this happens, then I'm with it.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the thing with a lot of people, they don't analyze things in two different ways. You have to analyze it from like a 360 view, because the market's not always going to go in one direction. Especially right here, like currently right here, this is in a downtrend. So a lot of people would have thought that, I'm only going to be taking sells at this point. But the thing is, if it crosses this zone right here, there's like a double confirmation here, because what happens is it breaks the trend line. So it breaks the trend line, plus it breaks the structure, and we have a buy momentum here. So if it does break through here and closes, odds are it's going to keep shooting up,
Yep.
But the thing with this is a lot of people don't analyze this in the other perspective, because the what ifs right here is, what if it doesn't break this structure, it doesn't break this trend line, then it can like pretty much shoot all the way back down here and continue that downtrend right there. Because there's a ton of different scenarios that can play out, but you kind of just have to lock down at least two of the main ones, and then maybe a third minor scenario if that's the case. But yeah, you should always analyze it from both directions, up and down. So that's pretty much odd NZD right there. It doesn't look like there's any late entry there, because for this, we'd be basing the entry off the previous candle.
Yeah.
Off this one over here. So for this would actually be a buy.
Yeah, it looks like something's going on right there for me, bro.
Yeah, this would actually be a nice buy right here. Let me see if there's a upper zone. It's crazy how far prices pushed this past past month, because it's gone to areas where it hasn't tested in like I don't even know how long.
Yeah, I had to do one. I had to look for a week. It was like on a week. I was like, wow, it pushed up that far.
Yeah,
when I'm looking at the week.
It's crazy how far it pushed. I mean, especially the NZD pairs and CHF pairs, those push pretty heavy. So this is actually good
news here. Is there any news with that?
I don't think so. Not today. Let's see.
I see it at the bottom.
We're good. Today's Wednesday, so all the news is done. I think I'm gonna.
Cool. That looks good.
Oh, is there something down here? Yeah, it looks like it's tomorrow on the 3rd. Cool. We should be good. I'm actually gonna take this.
I'm about to take this too.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna take this for a 10 Brits. There we go. I'm in the trade, and this looks good because the thing is, we're in EU right now, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's gonna go in the direction that we want it to go anyway. So it works out for us because we're anticipating this to shoot up regardless. So let me go ahead and send this in the chat real quick. The thing is, this week I was kind of playing it too safe, and we missed out on a lot of good trades because of the news. But thankfully, there's no news today, so we should be good.
Yeah, I'm weighing that trade. It's feeling good.
Definitely. And I like, the best part about trades like this is when they have a correlation to our trades that are already running. So we're already like wanting it to go up. So this is just that extra push where it's like, if this is going to go up, the other one's got to go up too. So we're going to hit 2 TPs, even better.
I'm with that.
Send this right there.
I was thinking about getting rid of the GN.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, I canceled mine before the swap. I don't know if it showed for people.
No, I didn't hit because I still had it on. I forgot to get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna tell people to just cancel it if that's the case with that one. Let me go ahead and keep looking around real quick. I'm gonna come back and set these alerts for AU in a little bit once we get back. Go check out CAD CHF right here. Nothing there. It's too close to that lower zone. KJPY. There was a guy that was talking about this Batman pattern. I've never heard of that
Oh,
before,
but
but then he showed a picture of it.
I couldn't see that in the group. I was looking for where he said the Batman pattern. I wanted to see that so bad.
Oh yeah, he put it in the public group. It was over here in the public
Oh,
chat.
okay. Got it. I was like,
It was
Batman?
yeah, it was funny because he sent a Batman picture, and I was like, I don't really get it. And then Sisu was joking with him, like, oh yeah, my bad, I didn't see the Superman pattern. See, like it's like legit a Batman head. I've never seen this before.
The only thing I
But
could
he
think
was pretty
about was
serious.
Dark Knight, that it was going in the wrong direction. That's the only thing I could think about. But that made me laugh
Yeah.
when you said that. It's like, yo.
Yeah, it made me laugh because like I saw it this morning and I was like, hey Cece, did you see the response to your to your thing earlier? And he was like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I was like, bro, I don't know either. But I mean, I guess I still don't see it. I don't know if you see it. I still
No,
don't see the Batman.
I don't see the Batman pattern. And I started out with price action vibes. But then I remember I was listening to like on Spotify, dudes was like, yo, if you put anything with the trend and get maybe some momentum behind it, you'll be more profitable. And then look at you rocking it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm with it.
Exactly. And that's how I developed the strategy. So this strategy was like originally just based off trend and momentum. And then that's when I incorporated these K2SR zones. And then this changed the game, bro. Cause it was like I kept wondering, why did I keep getting stopped out, or why did trades reverse on me, you know? And then I started to realize there's probably structures here that we don't even really see. And I got to figure out how to identify those structures. So now that I figured out the K2SR indicator, it's literally changed up the game for me. Like I don't know how, I've never like believed I'd be this profitable ever in trading. Like I always thought that, you know, trading might be like a part-time gig. But then once I figured out this K2SR, like earlier this year, man, my profits have just been like through the roof. It's like, and you've seen like from all the results, they all like all my positions hit. So it's been great to say the least.
I mean, like the best part of being in the group is seeing everyone's real money, like how much they're making. And it's crazy. It is like, it's what, like there was what's her name? Sniper or something. She is so
Cheryl.
good. Yo, she is so good. Like she was inspiring me. I remember I hit her up. I was like, yo, you know what? When I see your wins, I get inspired to like continue, to like always keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, that's what's up. I was like, yeah, she's solid, beyond solid.
Yeah, because she signed up like last month, and she just in the K2 indicator, she just hit it like right off the bat. She went up the strategies down. She started hitting like T back to back. Like she'd send me her profits every single day, and I'm like, damn, you're hitting more profits than me. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm just doing what you taught me. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, but she's been she trades on the shorter time frame, so she's able to catch more entries. But she's been on point. She's been practicing, and she knows exactly what she's doing with the K2 indicator.
Yeah, I vibes with her. I'm like, she's got it. And then Jalicia, she's killing it.
Oh yeah, Alicia is killing it. She's pretty good with her back testing too. So I don't know if you want to talk to her like to see what she's been like using, but she's been back testing the US 30 strategy, and she said, yeah, and she set that chart up where she pretty much marked up all of the US entries, well, like from US to London, and she was hitting TP after TP after TP, and I was like, damn, like she is like on point with it. I was like, I need to get on that level with her back testing because she's like super on point.
I feel like I know who I'm going to talk to to help me.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of people in the group that are really good with the indicators. There's a lot of people that don't even really talk in the group, but they talk to me personally, and they just send me the results and stuff. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like you literally got this, and you literally don't need help from nobody. You just pretty much just apply it, you know?
Yeah. Like my move, like I was messing with gold too much at the beginning on my personal account, and it was just there's no rhyme or like reason for me. Like I understand there's a bunch of people who figure it out, who are like actually making money and figure out how to make money through gold. In fact, one of my former mentors, this dude just kills gold, but I can't figure this out. There's like some sauce that just won't work for me. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I agree. It's the same situation with me too. Like I've always wanted to get gold down, and I've gotten gold down where I got it down a little bit, but I never got to a point where I was like consistently profitable. Like I
Exactly.
definitely get some money and then I'll lose it all, and I'm like, crap, what did I do wrong here?
Yeah.
And
Like that was
it
the
just
move.
doesn't make sense.
That was exactly the move. I would be like, okay, I got something. I'm doing it. I'll get 2 or 3 in a row, so I'm feeling real good, and then like I'll just crash out.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's gold's is a beast. It's something that I don't really mess with. I prefer to just trade US 30 because it's basically about the same amount of risk. It's just a lot faster. Because
Now, when I have a gold itch, I go to GJ.
oh yeah, no, for sure. All the JPY pairs are pretty hot, and then also what else is hot? US 30. There's a lot of certain pairs that move kind of similar to each other. The
Mhm.
JPY pairs move pretty smooth because it's usually like a major currency that's paired with the safe haven currency, the JPY, which is usually it's a cheap asset. So it usually has an imbalance where it moves a lot smoother than compared to like EG or something, or AN, something that's kind of too similar.
Gotcha. Oh, so did
Nothing's a
you?
win.
I didn't even notice if you went through everything. I was so focused on trying to get in this other, like my other layer, ready for my other layer on that trade. I was like, yo, I put my alert, just to tell me when it gives me another signal right there. I was so focused.
Yeah, and I got this one all set up, so we're pretty much good with this one.
Gotcha.
If there's anything else over here.
You should really get on UK for like FTMO on Friday. I don't mean like for FTMO. I mean
Yeah,
because I won't probably trade during at all that session because it's so crazy. If it can, it might be crazy in my mind. So I was like, I'm focused on making sure I'm wide awake for London, UK 100. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. No, definitely. I was thinking about hopping on maybe on Thursday night because we usually don't trade Friday anyways.
Yeah,
So that might be
that's
the
exactly what
move
I'm
for
talking
like,
about. Thursday night. Yep.
exactly. Because that'd probably be the move since that's basically the last entry for that week, since I'm probably not going to take US 30. Keep in mind too that this Friday is NFP. So we're going to see some crazy movements for sure
Yeah.
um, around this time because the previous that non-farm payroll change, it looks like it's going to be lower. So it looks like the US dollar is going to be weak. That's exactly why our positions are moving up. So I think this is going to be perfectly fine, AU, because unemployment's actually at a standstill right now. It's not looking great because a lot of stores are closing for COVID. So it's definitely going to affect the market. So I think this will be good. This will probably hit, maybe not today. It might hit maybe tomorrow, or the day after. I think it'll go all the way to full TP most likely.
Yeah, I like how usually when NFP happens, you notice the like US dollars always like those pairs like go up so they can come down hard. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
that pregame, just so you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, it's pretty good for like the first like each hour is like a day, and then it goes
Mhm.
from like Sunday, it's all slow. You start slow Sunday, Monday, Wednesday it gets hot, and then Thursday you just get that all-time high, and then Friday just dumps all the way
Yep.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll probably
So
see how that plays out. We still got another day, so we should be all right into Thursday.
yeah, tomorrow's all good. I'm ready. Um,
Definitely.
so was there any other pairs you saw that had opportunity today?
No, not really. I scanned through everything pretty
Got
quick. I didn't really see nothing there. There was one here for CHF JPY, but we kind of missed it.
mm.
Yeah, there was an entry right here. The
Oh
reason why I
yeah,
didn't take
yeah.
this is because it was such a big candle, this big spike
Oh yeah.
up, like 50, maybe like 60 pips. So I was worried that it was going to come down, retest this before
Mhm.
it shot up, but it continued up, so that's good. And on top of that, our CAD JPY is pushing up as well. So I think all the JPY pairs are going to be pretty much bullish. I wanted to take this EJ, but it's too close to this next.
Yeah, I took it yesterday. I got in
Oh,
I got in that EJ yesterday. It was great.
yeah, because it was the one we were going over at the live. So I had this one lined up over here. I was waiting for this to close because it was way down here. So I was like, all
Mhm.
right, if it closes up here, it's gonna shoot all the way up. but it ended up closing way up here, and I was like, nah, it's way too high. We should have just took it,
Oh,
but
you said
it's
that
all
on the
right.
live? I didn't make it on time to hear you say that on the live yesterday. My bad. I would have waited
Oh yeah,
then.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, because when we first went on the live, we didn't take the 6 a.m. candle close because there was news in the morning or the Fed was speaking. So I was like, all right, we're gonna hold off on taking these pairs that are directly correlated with what the
Mhm.
Fed's gonna be talking about. So I was like, all right, we're gonna hold off on these JPY pairs. So this candle was actually like way down here. It was like barely crossing it. So it
Yeah,
was at this point.
I saw a nub and I was like, yeah, I'm good with the nub, and I went for it.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I would have taken it. I was just unsure because the thing is when the Fed speaks, they could literally say anything. It'll spike price up or spike it down. Like they'll say,
Yeah,
"Oh, we got stimulus." They'll be like, "We got stimulus coming. All right, it's gonna shoot up." Like, "Oh no, but we're gonna have all these shutdowns coming up, and then it's gonna shoot it down." So I don't want to get caught in any of those moves. And on top of that, it's NP. So I was like, it's just way too risky for my liking.
yeah, I get it. For me, it's like I remember one time we were in a trade. I think it was US 30, and we were good. It was smooth. And then like Trump said a tweet, and it just got crazy. It just got crazy real quick. And then
Oh man,
eventually, after it
I
stopped
can't I
everyone
can't wait for
else,
Trump to be out.
it went back into profit, like towards where we wanted. I was like, oh, okay.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the thing that's scary about trading during news because it'll spike price in one direction to stop you out, and then it'll shoot it right back to TP. So you're like, damn, I should have just took off my stop loss or something.
Yeah, I thought about it too that day. I was like, yeah, next time this happens, I might like take it off. I was like, nah,
It's too risky.
it
It just
just
takes a
didn't
lot.
sit. Yeah, it didn't sit well for me.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think that was it because I'm looking at these other ones. GJ's been moving really weird because it usually moves pretty smooth like the rest of the JPY pairs, but
Hmm.
it's been bouncing back and forth.
Yeah,
Other
I'm
than
looking
that,
for a big down spike on it. Sorry, that's me. Mine keeps popping up
okay. Yeah, I was trying
because
to see
like
what was
you, no, because I keep getting the UK 100 because I like it to tell me once it happens per candle, and I like it to tell me once it closes. So then once it tells me
oh
once it
yeah.
happens, I'll look at it, and then I'll like decide. And that's really only for like later tonight, but I don't turn it off during the day. I just like let it just do its thing.
Let it run. I
Yeah, I
used to
just
do
let it
that
run.
for a US 30 because yeah, I used to do it for US 30 because I was like, I want to take maybe the US 30 trade if it comes up at a later time
Hmm.
session
Got it.
or like right before London. But then I
Yeah.
ended so many signals that like phone battery died at one point because I was getting like two signals every like 10 minutes. So it got to a point where I was like, I just gonna turn this thing off.
Yeah, I keep. Yeah, you're right. I've noticed
Because
I've
for me
had to use
too on
my
mine, I have
portable
two.
charger a lot more for my phone. I've been like
That's
since
funny,
I've
yeah.
been doing like that. Yeah.
Just for those trades,
But
huh?
yeah, for GJ, I'm looking for a big push down. That's what I'm looking at, GJ.
Nice,
There's
nice.
like there's like this naked thing I do every once in a while, and I traced it, and I'm waiting for it to also confirm with your with the K2. And once both those confirmations,
Yeah,
I'm looking for a down spell on GJ.
nice.
Oh, you taking this one right
Yeah,
here?
I was thinking about it because I took off my sell stop, but it looks like it's gonna come dropping down. So I might just set it there just in case. If
Mm.
it
If
fails, it
I would,
fails.
yeah, if you feel good about it, for me, I would take that sell stop from that spot like you had right there.
Oh, you think about just entering right now in market?
No, I was thinking the sell stop would be for me where I would get in on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I put the sell stop right there at the entry right now. So if it does come down, it triggers it. If not, it's cool.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll see how it plays out because it might trigger it. I don't know.
Can you tap the news at the bottom on that? I just want to see what that is.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks like PMI. So it's a market TIPS PMI final. Let's see
Hmm.
previous.
What time is
This is gonna
that?
be at. It's gonna
Oh,
be
I see it.
tonight at tonight in about.
Hour and a half.
No, no, no. It's like way later. It's 2200 hours. So it's probably gonna be in about um, 9 hours. So it's actually a lot of time.
Oh,
I'm surprised I don't
22
see.
your hour. I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, what?
Oh, you were
Yeah.
looking at, yeah, because you're 3 hours ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Your time.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. So it's a bit ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we still have this candle doesn't close until 6. We got 3 hours right there, and then another 4 hours on top of that. So nearly about 10 hours. So we got a lot of time for that. I just put the sell stop there. If it fills, it fills. If not, then I don't really mind because I can just cancel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be all right. Other than that, yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I was looking at GU right here. Yeah, hasn't broken that structure, doesn't have a buy signal there yet. So other than that, everything else looks pretty much slow.
Do you have a
This
favorite pair?
Not really. I like everything on the watch list. I do like GJ though. It's like one of the things that I started to like was a lot of the JPY pairs. So I like JPY, KJPY, EJ, GJ, NJ, and UJ. Those are the main pairs that I like to trade now because I started to notice how smooth they move. But previously, I used to like a lot of the major pairs, but then I realized that the major pairs are the ones that get manipulated the most, since they're the ones that are most heavily traded. So it's easier for them to manipulate those a bit.
Yeah, I noticed that with EU.
Yeah,
Even
exactly. EU and even GU too sometimes. But sometimes it's smooth. So it's like a hit or miss. Sometimes it'll be really smooth, and sometimes it'll be super choppy. Like you'll see these random spikes here, and you're like, "What the heck? Where do these spikes come from?"
But like, I feel like for me, since I've been using this, it's easier to like flow with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you have all the structures, so it's easier for you to identify, where stuff rejects from. Before, when I didn't have these structures, it's like you never really know where it's going to reject from.
Yeah,
But now that we have them on there, it's like it makes a huge difference.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Straight up.
and it's crazy because I didn't realize that this goes way back. Like these structures that are being created like this week, they've been tested like months, if not years back, and they're still pretty strong.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, Spencer, I got another call coming up at about 3:30, so I got to hop off this call for a bit.
All right, cool, man. Thank you. This was great.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any other questions, or we cover most of the stuff today?
You covered my questions for today, for sure. I'll hit you up. I always do.
Yeah, no, definitely. If we haven't covered everything, we'll set up another session because I'm pretty much open for next week. So if you ever want to hop on again, or if not, like a couple weeks after, whenever you have more questions with your back test,
Yeah.
I'm always available. I'll make time. Just let me know when, and then we can set up another session, sometime in the future.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, definitely, no problem. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. If you want to message me on Telegram, I'll get to you on there. Otherwise, I'll probably catch you in the morning session tomorrow.